This channel is dedicated to women, women's issues, things that we are facing today, so much that we're going to be talking about on this channel. And I hope that, my hope, of course, is that this channel progress into, just some real advice and counsel and tools, techniques that we can use for our own lives as women as we are navigating our lives in today's culture. And when I'm speaking of culture, I'm particularly speaking about American culture because that is the culture that I live in. However, I think that much of what I do share and talk about can certainly be used in various cultures and subcultures, and even men can certainly benefit from some of the information that I will be sharing on this channel and the things that we will be discussing. And so today I'm going to be talking about a video that I had posted. It was a short, and I'm going to be breaking down some of my shorts. That's one of the reasons why I'm posting shorts as well, because I actually do want to go in and talk about each short and just kind of like what they mean to me and what they can mean for us as women. Now, I posted a short with Marilyn Monroe, and it was just a little clip of cute little Marilyn, doing her little thing on the stage and all of that. And you can certainly go back into my shorts and you can find that. And at the top of it, I titled it, There is a Difference in Being Independent and Being Alone. Well, we all know the story of Marilyn and just kind of, how she came to a untimely demise, just in the industry that she was in, being used by men, not really having, I don't know if she had really good, solid friends around her or not, but, or maybe she just chose not to listen to them. But certainly we can all agree that her death was an untimely one and a very sad one. And it certainly makes one think about, her being an independent woman, which I'm sure she was in a sense. But independence does not require a lot of validation. And certainly from some of the memoirs and biographies, documentaries, and all of that has been put out about Marilyn Monroe, I think anyone could surmise that she did need a lot of validation. And so when we are navigating our lives as women, and especially as independent women, we're making our own decisions and we're not seeking so much input from others or direction and instructions. And we can kind of look at this in a couple of different ways. One is that we don't need input because, we're very decisive, we're decision makers, and we're hopefully making the best decisions for our lives. And of course, it's not to say that we don't need help and guidance and counsel, because we do. And that kind of leads into like the other issue as far as being independent. Independence also can mean not accepting help when we need it and not relying on people. Or sometimes, we can be so independent as women that other people may not even see us as needing help. We just kind of make and move our own way and do things. And I fall into that category quite a bit. I'm a pretty self-sufficient woman. I'm very resourceful, which I got that from my mama. Very resourceful, know how to get things done. I'm a doer. And so I think that when I'm interacting with other people, I'm perceived that way. And so it's the perception is that Miriam has it together and I don't need any help. And nothing could be further from the truth. And I think that with that said, we can still navigate in our lives in our own independence. And I think Marilyn Monroe did as well, that she certainly had a lot of aspects of being an independent woman, but she also had aspects of being alone. And I think that that is what we have to differentiate as women and as independent women, that we don't get ourselves in a situation where we are alone. Now, don't get me wrong, because I do believe that we go through seasons where we may have to be alone, where, things are just where we have to step back from certain things and recalibrate and regroup. And sometimes we have to go through that alone. And then sometimes, because of things that we're doing in our lives, people may not understand it, or friendships kind of go to the wayside, or we just lose touch. And so those are certain aspects of just our lives that can happen. But I also think that we have to just be careful as independent women that we don't, and we're not navigating, alone, to where we don't have enough counsel around us, which I really do believe that that is some of what happened with Marilyn. Now, of course, I'm speculating. Okay, we all speculate unless we were there, in these social media streets. Many of us talk about some of these celebrity lives like we were there, but I certainly was not there. But I can speculate that, with Marilyn and how she was maybe navigating, that she possibly had too many yes people around her, people who are not holding her accountable. And that could be because of, what she had obtained in her life, being Marilyn Monroe, and her success and all of that. And so sometimes that comes with, people just being around you because they want to get something from you. And so they're not really good friends. I have always believed that when we have good friends around us, they will hold us accountable. I believe in accountability. And I think that sometimes, and I'm totally fine with people holding me accountable. I don't think sometimes people may feel comfortable with holding me accountable because of my personality. But I'm also, too, the type of person that, I can do the give and take. I can take it as much as I can give it as well. And I think that with my friends that I have, those that have stuck around know that about me, that I can give it as much as I can receive it. But sometimes we deal with other people who just cannot operate on that same level. And so with Marilyn, her and her independence, there is a difference between being a strong, independent woman and then being alone. Okay. Independence, it has to do with our resolve, our personality, how we access resources, how we collaborate with others. That's what independence is, and then it's also how we go about living our lives, how we go about accessing our own path and purpose. We're typically very focused individuals. And with that said, we can be strong, independent, and you can also have an independent nature, but you can also find yourself alone as well. And so those are things that we have to think about. And sometimes, with that said, um, it's okay, again, for us to be alone at times. And hopefully, if you are that true independent woman, you are regrouping, you are calibrating, because it's not the end of the world. And that's the other piece that we have to make sure that we don't get to the point where, we're beating ourselves up, we're just getting into a depression, because as independent women, we can do that. We can go into depressions and all of that because of how we're navigating our lives. With independence, comes a lot of, just as what it says, it's a lot of autonomy. And oftentimes in our culture, we like dependency. We like for people to be dependent on us, and so we become a bit threatened if someone is too independent, or we have these thoughts about, their ability to be nurturing or caretaking and all of that, because they're navigating, and sure-footed in their own lives, and they may not be accessible all the time either. And so those are things that we need to think about as we go into our lives as the independent women that we are, and unapologetically, and that we're not ending up, in a state of, even if we are going to be alone for a season, that we're not going into depressions and things like that, which again, I think it's very common knowledge that Marilyn Monroe certainly dealt with a lot of depression and anxiety. And I believe I read somewhere where maybe she even had some bipolar things that was going on. But also too, we have to know what type of industry that we're in, and what we're navigating in, and of course the Hollywood or Hollyweird entertainment industry is certainly a dog eat dog industry, as we're seeing now with a lot of the stuff that's coming out with Diddy and all this other craziness, which we know that, please, Diddy is just a fall guy. It's so many people backing him, that was behind him, before him, on the side of him, right along with him. And so that industry in and of itself will eat you up and spit you out. It builds you up to tear you down. And certainly if we find ourselves in industries like that, and we're navigating in our own independence, and we are those independent women, we have to stay sure-footed. We have to stay sure-footed and grounded in, again, our path and purpose, and not allowing those distractions that can come in, whether it's coming in the form of substances, whether it's coming in the form of, partying, people inviting you everywhere. And of course, we get this even when we're, just layman, everyday people. I know I'm a pretty social person, and I've had seasons in my life where I was double booking myself. I was going to and being a part of everything. And since then, I've really had to step back, because I'm in a new season now where I have had to slow down and really more meticulously walk on my path and purpose. Hopefully we're always going towards our path and purpose, and that thing that we know we're supposed to be doing. It looks different at various times, and so sometimes it's more of a willy-nilly type of thing. You're making contact connections, this and that, and you're kind of partying, you're doing this, doing that. But then there's also other seasons. And see, that's what trips people up, is that they don't know what season they're in, and they don't know how to go from one to the next. And so they end up overstaying in one particular season, and then that season could almost, take them out, whether it's partying, you can party too much to where now you're not even focusing on your path and purpose, those things that you're supposed to be doing in life that brings you joy, that brings the world joy, and that needs to be heard by you. And so you get distracted. And so those are the things that we need to concentrate on as independent women, and knowing the difference in our independence and being alone. We can navigate in being alone in a strategic way, or we can navigate in being alone in a way that we've kind of pushed people away from us. And kind of, again, going back to Marilyn Monroe, I think that maybe the pushing away was more of that case. And then, I know I've had times in my life where I've had to push people out of my life for various reasons. And it may have been the right decision, or maybe even possibly the wrong decision. I mean, that's the deal about life. I mean, we make these decisions and we have to live by them. There are consequences for them. And, we do the best that we can. We do the best that we can. So I hope this word and this message, this advice, counsel, certainly touched someone today. That's what this channel is about. is just getting just more one-to-one conversations. I don't want this channel to be this glossy YouTube channel where I'm just, doing all the takes and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I will stutter, I may mess up some words or whatever. I will try to edit as much as I can, but I do want this to be very conversational, very organic and authentic. So this is not going to be a very glossed up channel. And I hope that my followers and soon to be followers can appreciate that, and that they can come here and get some of that counsel or advice that they may be looking for, and from the independent woman's perspective. So again, please like, of course, please subscribe, please comment below. I will definitely be interacting with my folks, with my peeps. And certainly if you have a topic that you want to hear about and want me to share about, in my opinion, my professional opinion, my personal opinion, of course, if you watch my previous videos, you know that I'm also a 30-year social worker. I've been in social services for 30 whole years, probably a little bit over that now. It may be 31. So I've dealt with everything that you could think of. I've dealt with when it comes to trauma, people, families, women. I've worked with men, very violent men, and men who are just trying to keep their lives together and keep their children, from one end of the spectrum to the next. I have dealt with it. So I hope to provide valuable information as well as advice and counsel on this channel. But I hope you guys also have a wonderful day and week ahead. Take care. Peace.